In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a high-pressure fuel pump on a Nissan NV2500. It's located in the Engine Bay area. Before you remove your high-pressure fuel pump, you need to depressurize the fuel system. Doing that is, if you underneath your hood, right behind your battery, you're going to have two fuse boxes. Your rear fuse box has a cover with two tabs, one on each side. You want to push on those tabs in and lift up on the cover and put that off to the side. Once you remove your cover, fuse F18 is your fuel pump. Is on the top left here. It's a 15 amp. You want to remove that fuse with a pair of needle nose pliers and put it off to the side. Now you want to start your vehicle and depressurize the fuel system. Sometimes the vehicle will start and stall. That is fine. Now shut your key off. Now you want to remove your negative battery terminal, which is a 10mm nut, and put it off to the side. On the driver's side of the vehicle, you're going to have your air cleaner box. You need to remove just the top part of that. It's held on by 4 clips. You just push straight out. This top one is missing. On the other side, clip that straight out and push straight up. Your mass airflow sensor wiring harness is connected to the top part of your air box. Take a pair of needle nose pliers, squeeze those two together, push down on the cable. The mass airflow sensor is held in by one tab. Just push the tab in and pull straight up and put your wiring off to the side. Your air inlet tube is hooked to your throttle body by one 8mm strap. You want to loosen up that strap. You have an air intake tube. You need to remove that. Move the clamp to the side, pull the hose off. Your evap vent valve has a clamp here. You need to remove that from the purge valve. That's also held on to this air intake tube with 2 clips here and there. Just take a pair of pliers, lift straight out, and do the same for this one. Put that hose off to the side. Right underneath that is another air intake tube. You need to remove that. And put it off to the side. Lift up on your air intake box and pull straight to the right and off. And put that to the side. You need to unplug your evap purge valve by just pushing down on the tab, pulling straight out, and disconnect it from the intake manifold. You need to remove your throttle body from your intake manifold. That's held on by 4 8mm bolts. Your throttle body has a rubber gasket. This is the perfect time to look at it, make sure it's not cracked or ripped, and if it is, replace it. After you remove your throttle body, you want to take a rag or some paper towels, install it into the intake because you don't want any debris to get in there. You have an air intake hose that goes from your valve cover to your intake manifold. You need to remove that. One of the top hoses that we removed from the air intake box has a clip here. You just want to push it out of the clip, put it off to the side. You have another air intake tube that goes from your manifold to your valve cover. You need to remove that. You have a coolant pipe that's mounted to your intake manifold. You need to remove the 2 10mm bolts. One's on the top and one's on the side. And then you have your other 10mm right on the side. You need to remove that. Lift up on your hose and put it off to the side. Your intake manifold has 10 10mm bolts that hold it down to the engine. You have 5 on one side and 5 on the other. When removing these bolts, you want to go from the outside in. We're starting on the passenger side, right behind your high pressure fuel pump is your first 10mm bolt. And way in the back, same side, right next to your two coolant hoses. Now your second one in from the front. Now the second one from the back. And now the one in the middle. Now we're on to the other side of the intake manifold. Same thing that we did on the other side. You want to remove your bolts from the outside in. Gonna do the front. Now all the way in the back. And the second one in from the front. Second one in from the back. And now the middle. Once you removed all 10 of your intake manifold bolts, lift up on your manifold and out. On the bottom side of our intake, you're going to have 8 O-rings. You want to replace those, and this is the reason why. Do you see how this O-ring is all folded over? That should not be like that. Sometimes these O-rings get hard and they crack or they split, so therefore replace them. To replace your O-rings, grab hold of the tab, pull straight out, and remove it. You want to clean inside this area here for your new O-ring. We have our new O-ring. We're going to slide it into the groove, push down, and make sure it's seated all the way around. Do the same for the remaining 7. Now that our engine is exposed, you want to install some cloths or some rags into your ports. That way nothing falls down inside your engine. On the right side of your high pressure fuel pump, you have a 21mm bolt. You need to remove that. Keep in mind that fuel might leak out of these lines, then that's okay. Once you remove your line, remove your gaskets and put that line off to the side, and you're bolting your gaskets. In the back, you have a 19mm nut. You need to loosen that for your line. You have a 10mm nut that holds this fuel line to your high pressure fuel pump. You need to remove that. Your fuel line goes down into the fuel rail. You need to loosen this 19mm nut and slide your fuel line off to the side. On the front side of your high pressure fuel pump, there's a connector. You need to push down on this tab here and pull straight down. And push your connector off to the side. Your high pressure fuel pump is mounted with 2 12mm nuts. You need to remove those. Once you remove those 2 nuts, pull straight up on your fuel pump and out. Here's a tech tip. Your high pressure fuel pump rides on this cup. This cup rides on your camshaft. If this piece is worn out or lopsided, you definitely want to replace it. This one looks good. Now that we have our fuel pump removed, you want to put a rag inside the hole. Just want to wipe this area down. Make sure it's nice and clean, there's no debris, before you install your fuel pump. Before you install your high pressure fuel pump, you want to check your seal. Make sure it's not cracked or ripped. This one is good. Remove your cloth and install your fuel pump. Straight down over the 2 studs. Push down until it's seated. Now install your 2 nuts and tighten them down. You want to torque those 2 nuts down to 11 foot-pounds. To To install your connector back onto your high pressure fuel pump, slide straight up, listen for the click. Now we're going to install our fuel line with our banjo bolt. Slide your line down, slide your gaskets over, and install your banjo bolt. And that bolt gets torqued down to 14 foot-pounds. Now we're going to reinstall our other fuel line. This fuel line is a ball and socket style, so it does not get torqued down. Tighten it till there's a little bit of tension and give it a snug. Same thing for the other one. Now we're going to install our 10mm bolt that holds that line down. Now just tighten the 10mm bolt down. You want to clean your surface where your intake mounts down with a razor blade. Just wipe it down with a clean rag. And do the same for the rest. Now that all our surfaces are clean, you want to remove your rags. Now's a good time to clean out all this debris. That is a fire hazard. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a vacuum and vacuum this all out. Now we can reinstall our intake manifold. Once your intake manifold is back onto your engine, you want to install all your intake manifold bolts. Then you want to tighten those bolts and torque those bolts in sequence, just like you see on the screen. Number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. Number 4. Number 5. This is number 6. This is number 7. Number 8. Number 9. This is number 10. The torque for all those bolts are 8 foot-pounds. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Now we can reinstall our coolant hose with our two 10mm bolts. Tighten both of those down. Now we can reinstall our intake tube and our clamp. And our other intake tube into our clamp here and our clamp on top of our intake manifold. Now we're going to install our intake tube on the opposite side, so now we're on the driver's side of the vehicle. And reinstall our clamp. Now we're going to install our throttle body. We're going to remove our towel, install a new O-ring. Make sure the O-ring is in the groove. Now you can reinstall your throttle body. Your throttle body bolts get torqued down to 7 foot-pounds. Now we're going to install our wiring harness for our purge valve onto our intake manifold and install your connector into your purge valve. Listen for the click. Now we can install our air intake tube onto our throttle body and tighten our clamp. Now we can install our air intake tube in our clamp. Our other air intake tube. Now we have our vent valve. Slide our hose underneath. Clip it into our holders, both ends. Install our hose onto our purge valve. Now we can reinstall our mass airflow sensor harness into our air cleaner box. And plug in our mass airflow sensor. Listen for the click. There are two of them, one on each side of the bottom of your air cleaner box. You want to install those first and then push down on the top. Now install your clamps. Now you want to reinstall your 15 amp fuse in cavity F18 and reinstall your cover. Now reinstall your negative battery terminal on your battery and tighten it down. Now you want to turn your ignition all the way on, but don't start the vehicle. Check for leaks. If there are no leaks, start your vehicle. Shut the vehicle off, and you're done.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.